Hello, and welcome to It's a Fandom Thing. I'm your host, Erin Marlowe, and we are continuing our celebration of our unofficial mascot, Christian fucking Bale, with a look at one of the bazillion versions of Little Women, the 1994 version specifically. This was voted on by our panelists, and we have a full panel today. So I am excited to continue talking about Christian Bale. And let me introduce the panel that I have with me to talk about this movie from 1994. And that is first up, my unofficial co host for the month of January, and the person that puts up with our unofficial mascot every January, puts up with the marshmallows going away, him interrupting when she's in the middle of talking, all of that. So, hello, Carla from Bedwetter Behead Pod.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad to see you. I'm also tolerating seeing other people currently with me, but
I know it's a lot. It's a lot. So thank you for
it
putting
really
up with
is.
that
Thank you
person
for recognizing that.
every January. And then sometimes he comes back and then he'll be back in October. So, you'll be spending
Oh,
Halloween with him.
my God, don't remind me.
So, also joining us, my producer, Erin A. Hello, Erin A.
Hello.
And last but certainly not least, one of my co hosts from It's a Dean Thing Pod, Paula. Hey, Paula.
Hey, hey.
So thank you all for joining me for this one. So before and spoilers. I had to say for this
Spoilers
one.
on the 30-year-old movie on the 150-year-old book.
Exactly, yeah.
I love it.
So before we get into it, let me just give you the IMDb description and the cast. So okay. Sorry. Um Little Women is about Little Women is Louisa May Alcott's autobiographical account of her life with her three sisters in Concord, Massachusetts in the 1860s. With their father fighting in the American Civil War, sisters Jo, Meg, Amy, and Beth are at home with their mother, a very outspoken woman for her time. The story tells of how the sisters grow up, find love, and find their place in the world. Sorry, I'm exaggerating here a lot. I apologize. Directed by Gillian Armstrong, and the adapted screenplay is written by Robin Sweecord. It stars Winona Ryder, Susan Sarandon, Kirsten Dunst. I know I haven't mentioned you yet, Christian. Claire Danes, um, Trini Alvarado, Samantha Mathis, Christian Bale. There you go, Christian. I mentioned you. And Gabriel Byrne. And Eric Stoltz, which is the weirdest casting in the whole entire world. Anyway.
Thank you. Oh my God.
I did a double take when he showed up on the screen. I'm like, what?
Great.
Like, why is he here? Who invited this guy?
I'm like, this is not in your. I'm sorry, dude.
It was
I'm
so
sorry.
weird.
This
Anyway,
is just such a weird casting choice. So, since it is Christian's month, and Christian, of course, plays Lori, who also, of course, goes by Teddy. That's what Joe calls him. And he is like, he's in love with Joe, but Joe sees him as only a brother, but then he ends up marrying Amy when she's older, which the older Amy is played by Samantha Mathis, who also ends up going on to star in American Psycho with Christian Bale. Anyway, so Carla, since it is Christian's month, little baby Bale, baby Christian, little
He
baby
was a
Christian.
cute little baby there.
How do you think he did as playing this iconic character, Lori?
We're so proud of you, baby Chrissy B. You did such a good job. Oh my gosh, you were adorable. You could barely even pick up on the accent. It's amazing. You did such a good job. There were only a couple of scenes where I was like, right. He's doing an accent. He's not putting on an accent. He's yeah, okay. So it was I like them a lot in this movie. Like both he and Winona Ryder both had to have like a matched level of complete childish silliness and just absolute goofiness and giddiness that it doesn't come across as like older people playing younger people. It just comes across as like genuinely having fun, regardless of whether or not they were having fun, especially when he face planted into a pile of snow. And who knows how many takes he had to do for that. But he looked like he was genuinely having a good time. And even as older Lori slash Teddy, he seems to it seems like a natural kind of progression into the older version of the character, where he's like super salty about like, oh, like I really like Joe but she doesn't like me, and so now I am gonna like sleep with all the women just to prove that I can. I don't know like what's with men. But all of that was like very believable, and I enjoy watching him work, even when he's a tiny little baby boy with a cute little baby boy face, and he's adorable and sweet face, and you just want to be like, oh my gosh, I'll totally drive you to the mall. But I think he really captured like that teenage brattiness, and then like that maturity as he, as Laurie gets older, and he comes back and he's married, but he's still very playful, but he's still more a mature playful versus a 16-year-old like haha, I bet you can't beat me to that tree kind of thing.
I'm just picturing you taking Christian food. Let's go to the mall. I'll pick you up.
In the back of the van.
You know what? I shouldn't have said that, because if he overhears me saying that, he'll be like, hey, I'll totally go to the mall. And we're going to be like, no, this is going to be like a winter storm, so I'm not taking you anywhere.
So, Erin A, what are your thoughts on Christian's performance?
He is so adorable. I agree. He's so cute. I think he's one of my favorite parts of the movie, honestly. Um, I know I saw this movie when it came out, but I have very little recollection of it. But I do remember Christian Bale, because, like, who didn't love him? If you were a teenager in the 90s, how could you not have a crush on him? And so it kind of took me back to that. And then it was just, he's adorable. And I think his acting is excellent. It is kind of hard to play different ages of the same character, and I think he pulled it off really well. I it must have been fun, because he truly looks like he's having so much fun playing with these girls, doing wrestling and pulling them in the sled. It's so great. um, but I think he was fantastic, and honestly, yes, he is one of the best parts of this movie. Um, if we talk about the rest of the movie, I've got opinions. But Christian, perfect, no notes. He's just so cute. And by the way, can I mention his hair, his beautiful hair, like that perfect 90s kid hair?
Yes.
It's how, like, that's like giving Finn a run for his money on the hair.
That's a high bar.
How
That is
is
a high
it
bar.
so perfect? It's beautiful. But yeah, adorable. I just love him so much.
The cutie pie.
That is a good point about his hair. Yeah.
It's every scene. It's perfect. Was there like one lady that was there, was like with tweezers, like placing his hair? It's got to be right. Like every single scene, perfect hair.
Every single hair is so like just so perfectly.
Yeah, perfect.
It's almost like it's CGI.
CGI hair.
CGI hair.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
So, Paula, what are your thoughts on Christian?
I don't have a whole lot more to add, because I agree with both Carla and Erin, but he was one of the more delightful parts of this movie. And one of the best things I could say about the movie was his performance, and yeah, and when he was on screen was a lot of fun.
I love how you're trying to be like very diplomatic about
Like,
this.
I'm sorry, whoever voted for
I
this
wouldn't.
for
I
us
want
to
to know who
cover
voted for
this.
this and why are they not here?
Exactly.
So it
'cause
wasn't any of you?
I don't think so.
Again, I own the book. I also fully intend to read the book. Those two parts have never quite matched up yet, but the book is in my house. Therefore, I can confidently say that it is absolutely a faithful adaptation of the idea of what I think the book is going to be about. And in that regard, I think it should be commended.
And as having read the Wikipedia page, because we know how accurate that is, I think
True.
your assessment is 100% spot on.
Thank you. Also, it completely matched the spoiler that Ms. Rachel Green gave us back in Friends when she shouts at Joey that Beth dies. So, again, I think that we are absolutely firing on all cylinders.
Yes.
I concur.
Yeah, but I do want to know because I thought for sure if any panelists signed up for this, they would have been the ones that voted for it, but I guess not.
Did we get punked? Is that what's happening right now?
So, hey, panelists, let us know who you, because you're probably like, I should have signed up for it to defend this movie. That's funny.
I may have voted for it because this is like I like period movies and stuff from that time period. So I probably did, but I don't remember having seen the movie before. So
That was like
Wow.
a how bad can this be vote.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is something that I would choose to watch and I would normally enjoy.
It's Christian Bale and
Plot
their
twist.
period costumes. So
Yeah,
clearly
How
it's
can
going to
we
be
go wrong with
amazing.
that?
it's going to be
Yes.
amazing. Plot twist. I was disappointed.
Well, I hate period pieces. I hate them. And so I was very happy to get this out of the way. I knew when I put this in the poll it would win, by the way. So I did it to myself because I was like, this is what's going to win. Because I know most people love period pieces. I get it. I am so sorry. It's this stupid cold just hangs on. And I know people love it, but or love period pieces. And this is actually a very beloved adaptation of this novel, by the way. And for me, they're just so boring. And when I saw the runtime of this movie was 2 hours, I about screamed. And I almost forgot to even watch this, by the way. I remembered at like noon today.
You forgot it existed.
Yeah, I was like, oh shoot, I have to watch that.
Erin, that is so irresponsible. Like,
I
some of
know.
us
Some
were
are
smart enough
podcast
to
hosts.
watch it at 2:30 p.m. today.
Something like that. But anyway, but as far as Christian Bale goes, that's the only part of this movie I actually like is Christian Bale's performance and him in this, because this is not what we typically get to see from Bale. And he's so like charming and young and sweet and very much like a teenage boy and then like a young adult. And he navigates both of those so well. And it really made me go, oh my God, I want to see him in a romantic comedy because he's so good in this and he's so sweet. And you very rarely see him ever in roles like this where he's like a love interest. And the scene when he like is going to ask Joe to marry him and he's so heartbroken when she's like, no, I don't want to marry you. And it's really, you feel for him. And it's just kind of sweet and heartbreaking. And it is just such a different role for him that it was so enjoyable to watch, because doing this, yes, he does a lot of different things. He's an incredible actor. He's got amazing range, but we rarely see him in this kind of role where it is the romantic role, where it is the very like charming, disarming kind of little, young kid kind of thing. And it's so nice to see that. And I want more of that as an older Christian. I'd like to see that as well. So I just thought he was so much fun to watch. And little trivia fact here. This is how he met his wife, because his wife was Winona Ryder's assistant. And so Winona Ryder introduced them. And so it's so sweet to me that this is also like the movie where he met his wife. I think that's so sweet and precious. I love that so much.
Aw.
So he's been with his wife since like, I don't know how long until they got together, but since like 1994, basically. That's a long time in
That's
the
like almost
Hollywood
15
world.
years ago.
Yeah, that's right. It's only a few years ago.
Just a couple.
Yeah, not 30.
Definitely.
So I think that kind of adds to it. And yes, I agree on his hair. And it just seems, I don't know if this will make sense, but like a lighter role for him. Like as far as like, he doesn't have to take on something heavy where you worry about his psyche. Because sometimes I worry about his psyche, and you don't have to do that in this. And he doesn't have to go through some big transformation except for his facial hair. But that's it. And I do. I think he was the most enjoyable part of this movie. So I didn't like this movie, full disclosure, but he was so much fun to watch that it wasn't as miserable an experience as I was dreading it being. Although I will say, once the hour mark happened, I paused and I was like, there's got to be like 10 minutes left to this. And there's a whole hour left.
That's exactly how I felt. I was like, wait, but I thought, first of all, I expected Beth to die way sooner than she did. So I was like,
me too.
so is this a dream and she's actually dead? Why are we still talking with Beth? Why is she sitting at the piano? What is going on?
Is this a dream?
And then there's like a whole part 2.
I know. So
I was expecting a movie, not a mini series.
it felt
Fun
so
fact.
as long as 2 hours. What?
When the stories were originally written, it was 2 separate books, and they combined them. So it really
makes
is
a
2
lot of
separate movies.
Because it feels
That
like it.
should
It
be.
really feels like it. And
Yeah.
when you get to that halfway point,
Mhm.
and then when they go 4 years later, it really
Yeah.
feels like
That's
a
where-
totally different movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where the first book ends, and then the 4 years later, that's where
Ah.
the second book starts. So they,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
but when they published it or whatnot, they just smushed it into one book. I don't know why.
So
Because
so you're telling me that they had the opportunity to like do a full movie with fully fleshed out characters
Mhm.
that didn't feel like somebody's throwing a pile of Polaroids at your face,
Mhm.
and they said chose not to do that,
Apparently.
even though they were able to split The Hobbit into 3 books.
Mhm.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that I was understanding. Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
Perfect, normal stuff.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense now that you say that. So that does. Except for, they wanted to have the scene of Winona Ryder putting together that huge book that went to the sky and wrapping it in the thread or whatever. So anyway.
So weird. Like, I don't think paper was that thick. Back then.
Right.
Old timey
was she
paper.
writing on papyrus? I mean,
Oh my gosh, that reminds me of that.
Really?
Have you ever seen that Ryan Gosling Saturday Night Live skit
Yes!
where it's like for
You
Avatar?
just italicized it.
They used papyrus. Anyway, but yeah, it was like, and I kept thinking, that paper could just fly away. And it's not like wrapped like any Anyway, I know this was the 1800s or whatever. It still was like, what? So yeah, so in conclusion, Christian is the only part of this movie that I really, really did enjoy. So I know all those other people. It's gonna be like Newsies Part 2 here.
Sorry, everybody.
This will
So
probably be a
much
really
less singing, though.
What?
So much less singing, though.
Yeah. There is singing.
Well, there
oh
is
my
singing.
god, that singing was annoying. Anyway.
Oh, that was horrible.
I felt like I was like at a bad Christmas pageant or something.
I hate Christmas music, and especially people singing Christmas carols makes me crazy. That was painful.
Yeah. Well, don't tell that to the thousands and thousands and thousands of people that have listened to our Christmas music episode. Yeah, but on that note, we are going to go ahead and take a quick break, and when we come back, we're just gonna talk about some other stuff with this, because I have on here, where does this film rank when it comes to Little Women? But it feels like that might not be an appropriate question for all of us. We can just talk about our other thoughts on this when we come back. So. Okay, so Carla, you are the expert when it comes to Little Women, having owned the book, and you see it there sometimes.
I do.
You might know about the title of it. So
I do. Thank you for recognizing that. I also can recognize the spine on the edition that I own, which, because it is the edition that I own, must be the only edition.
probably. And it's probably pristine
Absolutely.
looking.
Oh my God, you've never seen at least a less creased spine.
So Carla, since I don't know if this is the first time you've ever seen a Little Women adaptation, but it doesn't seem like we're all Little Women fan people. So we've been talking about how this film didn't necessarily work for us. So if you want to talk a little bit more about that, like why it didn't work for you or any issues you had with it.
Certainly. I absolutely can do that for you. I shall do it right now, as a matter of fact. I have many reasons for why it didn't work for me, and for why probably, therefore, the book won't work for me. Again, it is my expert opinion that the book exists. I have seen it with my own eyes. I've heard of it many a time. But I will start by saying that of all of the characters, all of the many characters, and there are so many, Erin. So many characters.
God.
The one I could stand the least was Amy. I hated her stupid bangs. I hated her I'm gonna marry rich because I'm smarter than my sisters thing, which is like such a youngest of four vibe. Like, could you be more of a stereotype, Amy? I didn't like her crappy painting. It was honestly like just so derivative. As you know, I also know a lot about art, having gone to a couple of museums, and I've also driven by many of them throughout my life. Also, I'm not a fan of age gap romances, and the whole thing where Jo is like 22, 23 when she meets this much older man who is, I believe that he's 16 years older. The reason that I know this is because I Googled it. And what I found out in my deep dive investigation is that Louisa May Alcott, the person that she loved, Henry, who has a last name, he was 16 years older than her. So it's based on like the book. It's based on her real life, she did fall for a much older man, which does not make it less icky for me that it is uh, a book and that was common-ish at the time. And listen, I love Gabriel Byrne. You don't know, like, I adore Gabriel Byrne. I think that man has been hot for ages. Still not into this whole, like, oh, she's, basically a child and you're so damn old. So old, you guys. So old. I also didn't like the turn of Amy and not Lucy. What's his name? Oh my god, Lori. Yes, thank you. I didn't like this thing where, first of all, okay, I think that there's a secret third book where we find out that Lori has been plotting his entire life to become a March family member because he's secretly obsessed with them and wants to, like, dismember them.
Oh my God.
Think that
I was just
third
gonna
book,
say.
yeah, because it's creepy
It's
because
a
he starts
horror
out like,
movie.
tell me about Meg, tell me about your sister who can't stuff her feet in tight shoes. Yes, let me pack some ice on that baby. And then he's like all about Joe, and he's like, oh, I love her and I can't have her. Delicious combination. I want that forever. And then he's like, I guess I'll settle for the little one. I would go for Beth, but she's sickly and she can't really travel, so I guess I'll go with Amy, whatever. Why this obsession with every March woman? Why? I think that we need to dig a little deeper into that. I think that would be a very fascinating movie, as a matter of fact. I would like to see a third Little Women movie, no, a second Little Women movie with these same people, okay, the same actors, where they prize their roles, but suddenly they start to go missing one by one. Little Women? Where? I see no women here. And then you find them all in the cupboard. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not the writer here. So somebody else can just, you can have that idea for free. I just want producer credit. That's all I want. So I think, anyway, that would be a much more interesting movie in my eyes. But just, again, this whole thing where they smashed so much information so fast, you barely get the hang of what one sister is like before they're in the next scene. For me, the most fun and interesting parts were where they're not being themselves, when they're play acting and being goofy and silly, which is just sisters being sisters and having a great time. But for the rest of it, it's like, oh my God, I can't get to know anybody because this is moving so flipping fast. And like, is she the mom? Is she like the nanny? I was so confused. Susan Sarandon's character, I was like, are they calling her by her first name, or is that a nickname? I don't understand what's going on. Nobody will explain it to me.
She is the mom, though. But yeah,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
understand. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it was very confusing. I guess if I had been paying more attention, I would have known. However, and then let's get back to Amy and her burning the book. I didn't know that we were watching a reenactment of, like, tyranny. That's not what I signed up for. I signed up for a period drama about women being little, not for book burning. Not in my house, ma'am.
That is like the most accurate scene of this whole movie, though. Whenever your little sister does something, and then you just like
Yes.
pummel
And then you
her.
burn her book.
Yes.
Oh my God, no.
Mm-mm.
I have a little sister, and she was always doing just the most annoying things, and like, you're dead to me, and then the next day you're friends again. But
Yeah.
like,
Do
yeah,
Do we
just,
all
like,
have little sisters?
screaming and
Mhm.
fighting.
Yeah, I think we do all
having
have
to
little
be, like,
sisters. So
told off your little sister for being so annoying to you.
Yes. Oh
So
my God.
accurate.
Okay, so I like this. We're all in the older sisters club
yeah,
where we feel Joe's pain,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of want to pummel Amy. We all
So
have an
annoying.
Amy
Yeah.
that we want to pummel.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Okay, I like this group even more now because we can all relate to how much Amy sucks.
She does.
Mm-hmm. Okay, beautiful. Yeah. So in conclusion, Amy sucks.
Mic drop there.
In conclusion, so Erin A, counterpoint. No.
I do not dispute the Amy accusations. um, I, okay, I can see why people would like this movie. I swear I know I've seen this before, like when it came out, but I have very little recollection of it. But I could see how, like, if you were an overly dramatic teenage girl in the 90s, that this would be like your jam, right?
Mhm.
And then
That's
you, you
perfect.
and then like you've got these beautiful nostalgic memories of watching this mediocre film like 100 times when you were in middle school, right? So like good for you, and I want you to have those memories. I'm so happy for you. I don't have those memories. I probably watched it and was like, "Meh, what happened?" Um, but so I can see how it could be very popular. There's parts of it that I do like that are cute and that uh, are I don't know. It was okay. I don't think I'll ever watch it again, and unless we talk about it again, which seems highly unlikely. We get catfished into doing another episode on it, but
That's what happened.
we totally did. Um, but like, yeah, I could see how people would like this movie. I've have watched 30% of the 2019 adaptation, the Greta Gerwig version. Um, I realized I was watching it for probably no reason and turned it off because it was, but like again, like I cannot identify with these girls. Okay, this is not. I don't know. The one cute thing that I did find about that came to my mind when I was watching it today was that these four like semi-feral daughters with like no dad around to like tell them they can't do that. They're having a good time. Their mom is letting them be crazy, and I love that. And then they remind me of the girls in Evil, of like how those little girls are just like they're all talking on top of each other and like having the best time with each other. And I appreciate that. I think that's cute. But there is like a lot of stuff in this movie where I was just super confused. I like lost the trail of whatever they were doing there. Probably if you read the book, then that's why you're watching this movie because you love the book. I've not read the book. I'm sure
Or if you
there's
love the cover of the book,
right. It's a very attractive looking book cover, I've heard.
totally like something that people would read.
Very fancy. But like I guess if you've read the book, then you know what's happening in between the scenes and all the stuff that they cut out. Um, do you think they only made one movie because they knew it was going to be like terrible, or because like they could have drawn this out? Like teenage girls would have watched
Yes,
2 of these movies, right?
absolutely. And look at the cast. It's like a who's
Yeah,
who of 90s
Right?
teen royalty.
totally. Yeah, like they could have made 2 movies and they explained stuff a lot more because I feel like some things would have made more sense in better context that was probably in the book that was like a bazillion pages long, right?
I mean,
But
we can only imagine, but I suppose that must be true.
right. It's got to be. It's very popular. There's like 75 adaptations. I was looking at the adaptations, like the list of all the different adaptations, and there's been 2 animes of this.
What?
Isn't that awesome?
What?
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm kind of interested in those actually.
I know.
Yeah.
Gonna have to
That
figure
could
out
be
where to watch
entertaining.
that, right?
Oh my gosh! You think when Lori fell on his face in the snow, like the snow just kind of went poof, and then suspended in the air as Amy is back there, just like
Oh,
Amy and Joe are just like pointing and laughing,
I
and
bet
then
it's
he has like
adorable.
that little like that little like hash mark above his head.
I bet it's
He's
cute.
like all red,
Yes.
and his arm just kind of like windmill.
Yes.
I want to watch that.
I know. I definitely So you need to see at least 5 minutes of that.
Yes.
I don't know if I have any more comments other than just like I can see how this might be someone's favorite movie. It is just not mine.
Just can't believe how many adaptations. So Paula,
Yeah. Again, I'm in complete agreement. I think the problem a lot of times with adaptations is they're taking the source material and they cut so much out that if you're not familiar with the source material, you have no idea what the hell is going on. And that was my problem with this movie. I was so lost because, okay, I know it's about the sisters, but then you have Laurie's family, his grandfather, and at the beginning of the movie, I got the impression that he was just this, kind of a dick. And then all of a sudden he's like giving Beth a piano and they're all one big happy family. And I'm like, what the hell? Where did this come from? I don't understand what happened. And the same thing with the great aunt. Like she's kind of this curmudgeonly old lady who doesn't really like Joe. And then all of a sudden, again, they're all together and they're all playing happy family and everybody's having a great time. And I'm like, I don't know what just happened. I don't understand. It feels like most of the movie, even though it was 2 hours long, was left on the cutting room floor with all the essential plot points. I don't know what happened. Yeah, there were some fun scenes here and there, but for the most part, I don't understand what's happening. I knew the spoiler. I knew Beth was gonna die, but but other than that, I'm like, I don't understand what the point of this is.
I didn't even remember that, and I was just like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, well, I knew it, but yeah, it wasn't a shock though. I was like, yeah, of course. Well, she got sick as soon as she went to that cabin and was holding the baby. I'm like, oh yeah, she's done.
Yes.
That's it for her. That's it. I mean, and the whole thing with Laurie's in love with Joe. She turns him down. Okay, I can't have her, so I'm gonna have the other sister. Like, that was a little weird. I'm like, are you just picking whichever one's gonna say yes? I don't understand. I don't know. I was so confused watching this movie, and I don't know. And I don't really care to read the book to figure it out because the movie kind of turned me off on the whole thing. Yeah.
I have to say, before we started this recording, I was really like feeling really bad because I was like, probably everybody's going to be like, I love this movie so much. And this is why it won our poll. And I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. I actually hate this. And now we don't. So I feel better. Our audience probably will be on the other side.
Listen, audience, we fully respect your tastes and your preferences. Just, we love you so much. The movie not so much, but you we love.
Yeah. So I hate every character in this movie, I want to say pretty much. I don't even like Joe. I don't like Joe at all. I can't stand her. I thought she was the most obnoxious bitch in the world. Sorry. I was like, the way she talked to Beth in particular, when Beth, even though, I mean, come on, Eric Stoltz is the weirdest casting choice in the world for this movie. But even with putting that aside, how disrespectful she was about Beth wanting to be with this person. It's
I'm
so
sorry.
cold. And
I'm sorry to interrupt you. As the expert, I have to tell you that was Meg.
Meg, sorry. Thank you.
You're
sorry.
welcome.
Anyway, so sorry, everybody. I meant Meg, but they all are interchangeable to me. But I thought that was so shitty because I'm like, just let Meg be happy. Let her want this. Why are you trying to ruin your sister's happiness? And so I thought she was obnoxious. I actually don't think Winona Ryder is very good in this. I know she was nominated for an Academy Award, but I don't think she's very good in this. I think she's miscast, frankly. I think almost everybody in this movie is miscast except for Christian. And actually I think Susan Sarandon's okay. I don't like Gabriel Byrne in this at all. I hated that. I thought that they had zilch chemistry. It made no sense in my book. Beth Claire Danes was so annoying in this movie. Oh my God. I could not stand her. So
Have
it
some
was
respect.
just
She
like,
dies.
yeah, I was happy about that. I was like, you're hanging on too long, dude. I think what happened and why all the characters changed is Scarlet Fever was a powerful thing and it changed people's character. And so that's what happened is she got scarlet fever and then suddenly the grandfather is like, "Oh, I'm a nice person now and I love y'all." And the aunt was like, "I'm a nice person and I love y'all." So the scarlet fever is pretty powerful stuff. I think that's what happened. That's the explanation I'm going with. So yeah, it was just annoying to me. And like I said, this movie felt so long, like so long. And it also honestly, my biggest problem with the performances in this movie is their performances. Everyone's acting and no one feels real to me at all. It all is very performative, and that bugged the living crap out of me. No one is really, really in their character. I think Christian is the only one that does an actually good job. Oh, and Eric Stoltz, of course. That was so weird. I just can't get over that. That was when his name came up, I'm like, Eric Stoltz. This is interesting. And it's just kind of it felt kind of like a lifetime version, like a lifetime movie version of Little Women. And and it's also very 90s though, too. But it just really was an annoying experience. And I couldn't even care about the main character that I'm supposed to care about, especially I feel as a woman, you're supposed to really be like, "Ooh, yes, yes, yes." Speak out about, you don't need a man, yet she ends up marrying someone, which I mean, I know it's autobiographical, but I'm still like, I thought your whole thing was you don't want to have to be with a man and you want to be an independent person. But then when it comes down to it, you need a man. I don't know. That felt really weird to me too. One thing I did appreciate though, and this has nothing to do with any of the characters' performances, but I appreciated the fact that their dresses were always dirty at the bottom. They were always wet. That was very, very, very accurate for what it would be like in that time period. Because you'd always be dirty because you're wearing those long dresses, ridiculous dresses, and you're walking around where everything is just caked in mud and wet and gross. That I appreciated because it was very accurate to the time. That and Christian Bale are the only things that I appreciated about this movie. The rest can just go back to the 90s and just live there and stay there. I don't care about anybody, these people. These people just whatever. And I did see the 2019 Little Women. I actually saw it in the theater with my mom, and I was like, okay, I'll go because I know it's going to be nominated for Academy Awards, and I like Greta Gerwig. And I had a memory pop up about this a few days ago, ironically enough. For me, that was actually a more enjoyable experience for me, was watching that one. That one I did not mind that much. I don't know why. I don't know what the difference was because I'm not going to watch it again. But for me, I gave it like a 6 out of 10, which for me, for a period piece, is pretty high praise. So I actually didn't mind that one at all. Even with the Timothy Chalamet of it all. I do think Timothy Chalamet is actually a really good actor. But yeah, so those are my thoughts. And with the Amy and the Amy and Laurie thing, Laurie to me, and he even says when he's talking to Amy at one point, he says, he didn't like the guy that Amy was around. And he's like, I'd feel that way if Beth was marrying someone. I felt that way when Meg got engaged. So it is this very much like he just wants to be in their family. And it felt like he didn't care which sister it was as long as he was a part of the family. He probably would have married Susan Sarandon's character. He probably would have married the mother if he could have. I mean,
Seems like a better plan.
Oh my God. I thought the sisters had daddy issues, but now that you mention it, the biggest
the
daddy
mommy
issue of
is.
all.
Oh.
He has just parental issues, period.
Yeah. I was trying to look up while you were talking if there was a Little Women horror version, like a trailer. And there is for the 2019 version, but I couldn't find one for this. So if it's out there, let me know. I'll do a deeper dive. But yeah. Okay, so we will be right back. And we've already kind of dissected this movie and kind of just trashed it. So when we come back, we're actually just going to jump to 6 Degrees of Finn. And I don't know if we'll have an appearance by anybody when we come back from the break. Maybe they're hiding because they just can't stand the way we're talking about this movie. They don't want to talk to us.
Just because I thought we were going to do the favorite character thing. So
If depending on time, but since we were
got
already
it.
talking about since we've already been trashing it, I wasn't going to go to that.
Okay.
But if you really, really want to say who your favorite character is,
No, it's
we
okay.
can do that when we get back. Does everybody want us to mention their favorite character?
I think we already did.
Pretty much.
That's kind of why I was like, I don't know if we even okay. But anyway, but we will be right back. Okay, and we are back. So if you did want to mention your favorite character, or well, no, we'll wait for our special guest.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Christian.
Paula, Erin A. What a wonderful surprise! I certainly did not expect you here.
It's
Hi,
good to see you
Christian.
again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so
Yes.
much. There must be a delay because that took forever to reach my ears.
So hi, Christian.
Hello.
I don't know if you've been listening to our conversation about Little Women.
Not at all.
That's good. I mean, you can listen to it later while you're eating marshmallows.
When
So
am I
you-
not eating marshmallows? Oh.
That's true. So you were so young when you made this. So do you have any fond memories of working with this cast?
Well, I must think about this. It was so long ago. I do mostly fondly remember meeting my wife there on the set through Miss Winona Ryder, who is still very much a dear friend of mine, probably.
Probably.
But I really must give it some thought. I hadn't had a moment to ponder about my favorite memories from that time. Oh, wait. I do recall something now. And now I must beg of you to be kind because I am going to confess a little something.
Okay.
Of how I responded when I got the part. Because as you well know, as I said during the episode that you did on Newsies, I swore that I would never be in a musical again. And yet there was, in fact, a song performance. There were, in fact, 2 song performances in this film. And when I read that in the script, I thought, oh, I can't. I've already sworn off music forever. And yet I was so drawn to this film that I decided to celebrate my casting by singing a song to the casting director. Would you allow me to sing it for you?
Yes, please.
Oh, wonderful. I am ready if you are.
I'm ready, Christian.
It's a brief song, I must say. So don't get too excited. Okay. Little women dying of scarlet fever, little women give out their bread for free, little women. I can't believe it, and yet it's true. A role with singing for me so new. That was a bit of sarcasm. All right. If I must sing in a film, all right. Suppose I'll do just that. Hang on. I'll only do one kind of song. A Christmas song. Put in a Christmas carol for me. Yay, a little bitty carol for me. Oh, Little Women. Thank you. Oh, I am so glad I remembered all of those lyrics from so long ago. Well, that I
That was
certainly
incredible.
did not write down about 15 minutes ago. It's all in my recollection, for I do have a superb memory,
That
which
was
one
that.
must as an actor.
Yes, that was amazing, Christian. That's going on. That should go on your reel. Your acting reel.
Oh, Erin, darling, I don't need an acting reel.
That's true. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. Pardon me for saying that.
No, it's quite
Um,
all right.
So, Christian, other than yourself, other than Lori, did you have a favorite character in Little Women?
Thank you for asking. Yes, I did. My favorite other character was actually Miss Joe, which I believe you may have unfairly maligned, although I was not listening. I must repeat, I was not listening, but I know you just so well. And then I feel like I just know you so well after all these
Yeah.
years. I
It
did
has been a
enjoy
long time.
Joe. Yes. I mean, like, I can certainly just picture you kind of watching the movie going like, ah! Why doesn't she shut up? But I quite personally enjoyed the character of Joe. I thought she was fun. I thought she was interesting. I loved the fact that she and her sisters had a club where they all call each other Mr. Something or Other. And I do, of course, favor writers, because without writers, where would I be? I would be
Good
nowhere.
point. Good point, Christian. Very good point.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Well, Christian, I just want to say thank you again for gracing us with your presence, but also sharing your amazing singing ability. You've shared it like for so many years now. And I know I've heard rumors that The Bride coming up in October, that there's some singing and dancing in this. I'm sure you can't confirm or deny that, but it would be nice to see.
Well, my lips are sealed. My lips are sealed. I can neither confirm nor deny.
Well, before you go, I do want to know, since you've been playing every week, did you play 6 Degrees of Finn Whitrock?
Oh, absolutely, I did. Yes, Erin. I am so
Okay.
glad that you asked. As you know, I love playing this game
I know you play it all the time.
all the time. I'm so glad that you said that, because it is my favorite pastime. And I'm not typing. I'm not typing. I am simply looking for the words to put to this sensation of participating in such a fun game that I definitely am very prepared for.
Do you play it ever where you're trying to connect people to you?
Oh, I'm someone I can't possibly imagine somebody trying to connect anybody other than Finn Whitrock to me, because, as you know, we were in a film together.
Yes, you were.
So, to that end, I shall talk about how Madame Susan Sarandon is connected to Finn Whitrock through Cradle Will Rock with Paul Giamatti. Are you aware of him?
Yes, I am.
Oh, splendid. And he was in A Mouthful of Air with Mr. Finn Whitrock, who, by the way, even though I am significantly older than him, and he was, I don't know that he was acting at this time, but my hair in the movie Little Women was inspired by his hair in the future. I went to a clairvoyant and was told this was the look.
You went to a clairvoyant.
I did. It shall be a little secret. Oh.
Okay, I'll be sure not to tell Finn that.
Yes, please do not. I don't want to make him self-conscious, you see.
Well, that was a very, very good 6 degrees of Finn. Very good.
Well, thank you. Now I must get going.
Okay,
The marshmallows are not going to eat themselves, as the saying goes.
that's true. Have fun.
Thank you. Ta-ta,
We'll see you
everyone.
next week. Bye.
Probably. Bye.
Probably. Probably. Jeez. Wow.
I don't control him. I mean, like, he either comes or he doesn't. Like,
Probably. So if anyone else did want to give their favorite character, Carla, if you wanted to, you can give that since we have a few minutes. If you wanted to give your favorite character, or was Joe your favorite?
no, of course not. That was Christian's favorite. We're not the same person. Oh my God, the assumptions that you make sometimes, Erin. My favorite character, I'll tell you what, was not Amy.
Really? I never would have guessed that.
Definitely not Amy. No, and certainly not the cradle robber. But I liked Meg a lot. I thought she was, from the glimpses that we saw of her.
Yeah, she's barely in it.
In this like flip book of a movie. I like that she stood by her convictions, even though her convictions were a little, what's the word, uptight for me. And I also like that she had that bit of whimsy in her where she really liked acting. And I do wonder, what could have been of somebody like that in an age where she wasn't told that, doing something like acting was like, bringing her family to shame.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a really good point. So, Erin A, you can give your favorite character, and then also, after that, your 6 degrees of Finn Whitrock. Because you're part of the Finn crew, so you kind of have to play.
Oh yes, of course. I don't know if I have a favorite really. I'm gonna go.
Was
with
it Amy?
Lori.
Just say it.
It was Amy.
Shame.
If it was Amy, I'm gonna have Christian come back here and yell at you.
No, I'm gonna go with Lori. I think yeah. I'm just gonna go with that.
Okay.
We'll just leave it there.
Okay.
But I do have a 6 degrees of Finn. And now my tabs are frozen. Okay, so I'm going to go with Gabriel Byrne because I do love him. Was in Maniac, that Netflix movie. No, it's not a movie. It was like a limited series.
Yeah.
It's really weird. He was in that with Billy Magnuson, and Billy Magnuson was in 12 with Finn.
Wow, 12. This is the second time that's been used in the past couple of months, which is amazing. It was never used before. So
just 10 more to go.
Very good. I almost said very good, Christian. I'm just getting you confused. You're one and the same in my mind. So, Paula, did you have a favorite character? And then you're kind of an honorary member of the Finn crew, even though you slack on watching the Finn Whitrock stuff. But do you have a favorite character? And then did you do 6 degrees of Finn?
I did do 6 degrees of Finn. I don't know that I necessarily had a favorite character because the whole thing was just a mess. But I did like the mother, Marmee, I guess we're calling her. I don't know. Because I like how she like encouraged the girls to like be who they are and experience life, and she didn't like a lot of families at that point would have been like, no, you have to marry, and you're a woman, so you have to do these things because that's what expected of you. And she didn't do that with any of the girls, and I appreciate that. So I'll go with her as a favorite, I guess. And not Amy. I'm sorry. Not Amy.
Nothing to be sorry
No.
about in my book.
No. I don't even understand why she burned the manuscript. I don't understand
There
it.
was
Anyway.
no inciting reason. Like, what?
No.
She couldn't go to the party.
But why
So
did you
you-
get it on the sister?
Burn a book that she spent hours I don't understand.
God, it all makes sense now. It all makes sense now. Oh my gosh, she's secretly a pyromaniac. And it's going to be her and Lori who are going to do all the kidnappings
Oh.
in the sequel.
Oh.
Mm.
That makes sense. Very much
I
makes
just blew my
sense.
own mind, you guys.
No. So I wait for my 6 degrees of Finland rock because I just can't comprehend that mind-blowing revelation there. I went with Mary Wicks, who played the aunt. She was in June Bride with Debbie Reynolds, who was in Halloween Town with Finn Whitrock.
I love that one. And that's one of the few movies you have seen.
Yes, I have seen it.
Very nice.
Very good. So I don't really like any of these characters. So I guess Lori is my favorite. I don't know, the cats. I like the cats.
Oh yeah, the kitties.
So that they get my favorite character award. So my 6 degrees of Finn, I used Susan Sarandon, who was in Blackbird with Kate Winslet, who was in Titanic with Kathy Bates, who, usually I try to avoid American Horror Story, but I decided to do it anyway, who was in, of course, among other things, American Horror Story Freak Show with Finn, who in that one he played Dandy Mott, which he was nominated for an Emmy for that performance as well. Okay. Well, thank you, Carla, Erin A, Paula, and of course, Christian. I mean, we can't forget about Christian. Thank you for joining.
Even if you wanted to.
I'm sure you do on occasion. Well, thank you for joining us. And I know a lot of you out there love this movie, and more power to you. So we're going to go ahead and close out. So Carla from Bedwetter Behead Pod, where can that be found and where can you be found?
Well, you can find Bedwetter Behead Podcast wherever you got this podcast. You can find our social media presence wherever you get that social media presence. You can look for me, my art, and my musings on Instagram or TikTok at Carla Temis. My website, carlatemis.com. That's CarlaTemis.com. If you want to throw questions at me or tell me about how much you hated Amy, just come to the Discord server for it's a fandomthingpod.com. And just look for us and just go to like any of the 5,000 channels that we have that have like all kinds of cool and interesting things. Talk to me about how much you love your edition of Little Women and how amazing it is that I've managed to keep the spine uncracked on mine for so long. So just go there and you can tell me all about it.
Awesome. Thank you. And Erin A, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can explain to me the missing parts of this movie on Instagram and Blue Sky. I am at Geek and Sew. That's what I do. I geek and I sew things. I almost said .com after that, and I don't know why because that's not a thing. But yeah, don't come at me about not liking this movie because I'm sure there is trash movies that I like that you don't. So just let me do my thing.
Yeah, don't come after anybody on this panel, please. So, Paula, one of my co-hosts of It's a Dean Thing, our other co-host is Susie. Where can that podcast and you be found?
So you can find that podcast where we talk about Dean Winchester, our absolute favorite character. Wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, we are there. You can also find us on social media at It's a Dean Thing Pod. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm there, sort of. At It's My Sandbox. I don't spend a lot of time there anymore. You can also find me at my gamer tag Artemis75, ARTEMISZ75 on Twitch. But really, I'm mostly in the Discord server for It's a Fandom Thing. So come say hi, explain this movie to us, please. I don't understand it. I'm sorry. I know people love it. It's wonderful. I know there's movies I love that other people don't understand, and that's okay. We can talk about it. Come talk to us about it, please.
Yes, exactly. And, there's also It's a Paula Watches Finwit Rock things on there too.
There is. There is.
I love you, Paula. This is Erin. Fergie did not like this movie. In fact, she fell asleep like right away. This is so not her cup of tea. She probably liked the version that Carla is talking about.
I'm just putting it out there. Josh Rubin, if you want a free idea.
Yeah.
I feel like
Josh,
this is right up his alley.
It is kind of.
Yes.
Yeah. If you want another like horror thing to do, Josh, since you do really good horror comedy, and I'm sure he would do this. Anyway, so Fergie is a dog who loves horror movies, loves Abbott Elementary, which I don't know if that's back yet. We'll have to watch, we'll have to see. And also loves true crime. And as of this dropping here, TikTok I think is still around, but it'll be only around for a couple more days. But I'll probably create an Instagram for her. But you can follow her on TikTok for now at Schroeder and Fergs. That's SCHROEDERANDFERGS. It's long, but it's worth it. Be sure to like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/It's a Fandom Thing Pod. On Twitter at Fandom Thing Pod. No, it's in that one. On Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky Social, and TikTok at It's a Fandom Thing Pod. If you have any feedback, show notes, if you'd like to be a potential interview guest on the show and explain the movie to us, Eric Stoltz, if you'd like to come on and explain why you were cast.
Even better, the casting director for Little Women,
Yes,
1994. Yes. Get over here and explain yourself.
This movie. Explain what you were thinking. But you can reach out to us via our website. It's a fandomthingpod.com. Click the contact us button there. That'll shoot me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And while you're there, consider becoming a Patreon supporter. For as little as $3 a month, you get bonus content. You get ad-free episodes. You get episodes a day early. You win prizes sometimes. And maybe the tiebreaker might be broken because I know for a fact one person hasn't voted yet on it. And I'm looking at them. So that tiebreaker may be broken. We're going to do a bonus Christian Bale episode where we're either going to do a commentary track for American Psycho or we're going to discuss our favorite Bale character quotes. So that'll be our bonus episode for this month. So become a Patreon supporter today. Visit the link in the show notes or go to the Support Us tab on our website. And next week, we are every time it goes so
already
quick. I know. We are already wrapping up Christian Bale month. This is so hard to believe. It's so flippin' depressing to me every year. And every year it seems to go so much quicker than even the last year.
Yes.
And last year we only did 3 movies. And so this seems even though we're doing 4 movies. And yes, we're doing The Bride. We're going to be covering The Bride, by the way, in October. So we are doing technically 5 Christian movies, but Christian Bale movies.
Bale movies.
Yeah, I should.
Your camera will not be showing up on your interviews anytime soon.
But we are going to wrap it up with the listener pick, and it's only going to be Carla because I guess nobody else wants to come and talk about Shaft from 2000. And
I
Christian
guess we can't dig it.
Christian is the villain. Spoilers. So yes, and it's another movie with Toni Collette because Toni Collette was, of course, in the first movie we covered this Christian Bale month, which was Velvet Goldmine. I almost forgot, and it was my pick. I don't know why. That's the best movie so far we've covered. for me, it's my favorite. I did like The Promise too, but anyway, so yes, we are sadly wrapping up Christian Bale month. Oh my god.
Pretty.
We still will have Christian Bale birthday trivia on January 30th on Christian's birthday, but this is so sad to me. And then we will have a special Christian Bale thing in May for our marathon streaming event. We're going to have a Bale off, not a Bale-a-thon. But
No,
a Bale
Christian
off.
Bale does not just go out to car lots and sell used vehicles. So you'll find you're safe.
Yeah. So yes. So until next time, remember, it's a fandom thing. Black Lives Matter, stop Asian hate, and free Palestine.